Good morning everybody, this is Victoria. Welcome back to another episode of Drawing Tutorials. So today what we are actually going to learn is how to measure with our pencil. So this is a very important and crucial tip and also technique to learn because it will actually help improve your precision in measuring the proportions that you're drawing and also kind of improve drawing the correct proportions and also how to pre-measure before you actually start your drawing. For those who are brand new to this art YouTube channel, my name is Victoria and I am a self-taught fine art artist and illustrator, and I'm also an art teacher, and I create these fun art tutorials and drawing exercises and also drawing practices to help students and anybody who loves to draw and paint to motivate, inspire, and also help them improve their drawing and painting skills. Okay, so before we actually start off for today, I'm going to kind of like summarize what we're actually going to be doing together. So we're first going to see what art materials we'll need for this particular practice and drawing exercise, and also we will learn how to hold our pencil while we're measuring. So that's a very important part. And then we will also try to draw something very simple, which is probably going to be a square, and also how to divide that into half. And then there'll be other extra exercises if you're interested so that you can actually practice the new things you learned today in this video. Okay, now let's get started. So basically what we'll need here for our art materials is actually very simple. You should all have this at home, and if you don't have some of these, there's also alternatives. So what we're going to do here is that we need a type of paper. Any drawing paper or sketch paper would work. I use Strathmore sketch paper, and that's a really good paper that I've been using for quite a long time. So you can use sketch paper or you can also use printing paper. Either one works because we're mostly concentrating on how to measure with our pencil, so it doesn't really incorporate shading or anything, so printing paper is fine. And then also we would need a pencil, so you can either use a traditional HB pencil and you can also use a mechanical pencil, but do make sure that if you do have a traditional pencil, make sure that it's long enough, because since we are measuring with our pencil today, you don't want it too short or else you have to kind of draw a very small drawing. And then we will also need an eraser just in case if we make mistakes, which we probably would, but that's okay because that's how we learn. Okay, now we're good. Okay, so first what we're actually going to learn is how to hold our pencil and how would we actually do the measuring with our hand. So we would actually need to draw a line first before we measure anything, because if there's nothing on the paper, there's nothing to measure. So make sure you draw a horizontal line like what I'm doing currently over here, and then you want to make sure that you have that little dash on the left side and also the little dash on the right side. So if you find that the line is slightly a bit wonky or it's not exactly straight, you can always go back and adjust it. Nobody says that you have to draw it the very first time to make it perfect. You can always go back and correct. So the key idea is to be willing and also be able to correct it even though you didn't get it the first time, but you do get it in the end. Okay, so once we have this horizontal line, then we have something to measure. And make sure you draw these two little dashes on each end over here because those would act as stoppers. So that's what we're going to measure from. So what we're going to do here is that for the hand position, we're going to hold our hand out if you're right-handed. And basically what happens here is that we're going to use our thumb and third finger to hold our pencil, and then the index finger is going to be the finger that we're going to do our measurement with. So basically we're gonna set the paper and lean it against, set the pencil and lean it against the paper. And then what we're going to do here is that we're going to make sure that the tip of the pencil is on one end of the dash. Okay. And then we're gonna have the index finger be on the other end of the other dash. So basically the tip of pencil is over here on that line, and then you can move the pencil a bit lower so you actually can see where you're measuring and all that stuff. And you kind of see where the tip of my index finger, so my second finger, is behind this side of the line or the dash. Okay, and that's basically how you measure with your pencil. So make sure that you have your thumb and third finger hold the pencil, because that way you can actually move it around, right? Because if your index finger shifts, then you kind of defeats the purpose of measuring, right? So you want to make sure you have the thumb and third finger to hold it so you can move it around, and then we want to make sure that the tip of the pencil is on the left dash, and the tip of finger is going to be on the right side, the right dash. And then once you have that, you kind of see where I twist. So basically you can change it around, you can rotate the pencil, and you can still keep your measurement, or you can also duplicate it as well. Okay, and that's pretty much how we would hold our pencil and position it. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to show you some things that you probably don't want to do. So basically you want to be able to see what you're measuring, and then also make sure that the tip of the pencil is behind the line. So you don't want it to be too inside, like right here. You want to be at the line there, right exactly at the line. And then the finger is the same thing. You don't want to be squishing on the line because you don't see what you're measuring at all, and you don't want it to be that far away because that's not exactly what you're measuring, and then not too forwards either. So you want to make sure that it's right at the line there. And as you can see, I'm putting my finger on the top of the pencil and not like on the pencil itself. So it's kind of, my finger is actually touching the paper at the top, so when you're measuring, you're actually having it just kind of like gently sit on the pencil there. So once you have that, then that way you can actually see where you're measuring, and then also being as precise as possible, because the slide's change can have a big difference. And we're going to now measure with our left hand. So I don't think it really matters whether if you're left-handed or right-handed. Definitely if you're not comfortable using your non-dominant hand, you can use whichever hand you're more familiar with, like the hand that you write with. And it's going to be the same thing. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to make sure that we have the index finger so that I can slide and measure the size or proportion that we need, and tip of pencil is always on that line, and then now tip of finger is going to be on the other dash on the left side. So now, as you can see, we can pick up our pencil, we can rotate, and that's how we measure with the left hand if you're left-handed. Okay, so now we know how to hold our pencil and how to measure with our pencil. Now we're gonna actually go ahead and draw a actual shape and actually put this measuring into practice. So what we're actually going to draw here is something very simple. So we're going to draw a square. So as you can see, the square is even on both sides, so the width is the same size as the length. So we're going to practice our measuring right here. So make sure the tip of the pencil is there, tip of finger is on the other side, and then we're going to rotate. So as you can see, you kind of see how I turn and twist. So basically, once you have that, you want to make sure that the tip of finger is basically where you're going to draw your new line, and then always make sure that the tip of the pencil is going to be on that horizontal line. So you don't want to be at the top of the dash line, like those stoppers. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure it's on the horizontal line, because that's the stopper for our new vertical line that we're drawing. So once we have that, you can always go back and double check, because your hand does shift. It is always possible that your hand kind of shifted midway and the proportions would be off. So it's good to always have a good habit of double checking. And if you're really uncertain, you can also triple check and quadruple check. Sometimes I do that, not all the time though, but it's always good to kind of double check and just see. And then every time when you're checking, make sure that you go very slowly and make sure that everything's very accurate. So make sure that the tip of the pencil is on the dash line, and then tip of fingers on the other dash. And then when you're rotating, make sure that you don't move any of the fingers. You're just kind of picking the pencil up and kind of rotating your wrist or rotating your hand and kind of moving it so that it matches the vertical side, and then that way you have your new measurement. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here is that since we have this line there, we're going to draw a line from that dash. So basically that's like a mini line for our vertical line for the left side of our square. So we're going to extend that, move it down, and we're going to do the same thing for the right side. So we're going to gradually move this down, and you don't have to draw the line all in one go. So it's the same thing as I mentioned earlier. You can actually kind of connect smaller lines together in order to get a nice straight line. And then for the baseline, that little dash line that we measured earlier, that's going to be the baseline for our square. So now we have our beautiful new square. Okay, and then if you need to do some slight double checking too, just to see if your lines are straight or not. So basically what happens here is that same way, you're gonna make sure your tip of your pencil's there and tip of finger is on the other side of the square. And then you can actually just kind of go into parts. So you're gonna move down just a little bit. And what happens is that you're going to twist and turn to see if this side is the same size as the other one, because if one is longer than the other one, then that means that your base horizontal line is sloping downwards, which kind of did happen with me. So I'm just going to readjust it, move it up just a little bit, and also just kind of erase the bottom part. So it's a good habit to make sure you draw the new line first before you do any erasing, before you erase the old lines, because the most common thing that happens is basically you would redraw that old line again. So make sure you draw the new line, correct it, and then erase the old line that you don't need anymore. Okay, so next step is we're going to learn how to divide this square into half. So we're going to try to find the center line first, and we are going to create this new little dash. So it's the same thing as we did with the stoppers on the side of the square. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make sure that we measure and see if that line is the center, and once it is, you are going to draw a line all the way down to the very bottom there. And there you go, we have our center vertical line. And then another way to kind of double check too is that you can measure the top part and slide it all the way to the bottom part just to see if it's the same length or not. And if it isn't, if it's kind of leaning more towards the right or more towards the left, then that means that one side is larger than the other. So you basically want to make sure that it's the same on both sides. And we're going to do the same thing for our horizontal center line. So we're going to draw a little dash, and then also we're going to measure top to bottom just to make sure that it's the same size, so that the proportions are even. And once you have that, you can go ahead and draw your horizontal line. So as you can see, I'm actually drawing very lightly at the beginning, so I kind of get a sense of like how that line is going to be drawn all the way across the whole square. So I see a lot of students where they put so much pressure on it, and then the more pressure you put, it wiggles quite a bit. So it actually backfires on you when you put so much pressure and you try to keep it straight. So that's not very helpful. So I would recommend kind of lightly sketch it out and then correct it and refine it later on. And make sure you kind of double check to see, because all of the squares should be all even. So the width and the height would be the same for all these mini squares that we have. Okay, and that is it for today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this brand new video and learned something new, learned how to measure with our pencils. So hopefully this would be helpful for you guys to get more precision in measuring, and also kind of improve your proportions and also improve your drawing skills, so that now you could kind of measure beforehand before you draw your new character or anything else that you're currently drawing and practicing. So if you guys want more, there's actually another video that I'm actually coming out with soon, which is basically a construction of a Mario mushroom. So this is a perfect shape to kind of practice the new things that we just learned today in this video and kind of apply it to a fun little character that we can actually draw. And then also we would add something on top of that, which is basically curved lines and all that stuff and curved shapes, so that would kind of make it slightly bit more challenging and more things to practice and work on. But stay tuned for this brand new video that's going to come out soon, and if you guys would like to kind of practice a little bit more and kind of use the new things that you learned today, I do have other constructions ready. So there is 2 other videos that I have. There is the Pikachu drawing, and then also there is the Fuzz drawing that you can also practice this new technique that you learned today on how to measure with your pencil and also practice your drawing constructions and all that. Thank you again so much for watching this brand new video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do like this new video, please remember to subscribe to get new updates on new videos that are coming out, and also please do click the like button, and also please comment below if you have any questions about this video in particular, or if you have any other questions about drawing and also how to shade or how to draw or anything that you have trouble with. I'll be more than happy to help you out. And if you would like more drawing exercises like this, I do have more on my Patreon, so feel free to check those out. You can get more coloring pages like these when you sign up for Learning Fuzz tier or Student Fuzz tier, and then there's so many more drawing exercises on there too. There's hatching exercises, there's drawing constructions, there's step-by-step process, and also you can vote on other subjects or themes that you would like to learn about drawing or painting. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. So yeah, so have fun, check everything out, and feel free to practice more drawing constructions like these and have fun learning this new technique that you learned today in this video. So awesome. Okay, I'll see you guys next week. So take care, have a wonderful week, have a wonderful weekend, and I shall catch up with you guys next time. So take care, stay creative, have fun, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye!